Hello, I'm Simona, I'm a trans woman and I play in a metal band.
I got in contact with Simona, who happened to live in Borås, which is a small city close to where I live, so I just had to go see her.
My name is Simona Ohlsson. I am from Skärhamn, Sweden. I am 30 years old. I am a trans woman. I came out about 1.5 years ago. I had been having all of these thoughts basically my whole life. I only just very recently put them into words for myself. During the pandemic, basically, I started to think about why do I have all of these masculine expressions, like physical expressions like my mustache or the way I dress. I didn't really think it fit me. I didn't feel happy with it, with myself. So I started to just try out different things and do a lot of reading. Coming from a smaller town, I didn't really have a lot of information available to me regarding gender identity. So I started searching online, like, how does it feel to be transgender? Well, some people avoid mirrors, and I'd done that my whole life. So I just started, going down the rabbit hole of my own identity and linking pieces together for basically my whole life. Just thinking back, how did I feel in that situation, or how did I feel in that relationship? I've been in stereotypical heterosexual relationships before. I never quite liked it. I never quite fit in. I couldn't do it. I wasn't really living myself in that life. So I came to the conclusion that, okay, I am not a straight male. Maybe I am non-binary. I tried it out. I recognized that, well, maybe I'm not non-binary. Maybe I'm a trans woman.
Figuring out her gender identity has been a relief to Simona.
It's been very good for my well-being, my mental health in general. I've been so much more calm in myself, like more confident in myself, even though it can be daunting to go into the town. Sometimes you can feel like, oh my God, all of these people are staring at me and they know and they think I'm ugly or whatever. That's not the standard. It does happen, but it's not the standard. Most of the time, I'm just much more confident in myself. I feel like I've aligned myself physically with my mental state.
She's also waiting to get help from the public healthcare system in Sweden, but we have a problem with huge waiting times that are currently at least 2 years to even get your first meeting.
I've done my own referral about a year ago, and I'm still waiting for my first session. I've been feeling this way for like a year and a half. I've reached out to the state, like, please help me. I've yet to gotten a first meeting. That's insane.
So like many other transgender people in Sweden, Simona has reached out to a private gender clinic abroad, even though she has the right to get this help from the public healthcare system in Sweden.
I've been using Gender GP for my HRT. I don't like using private medications. It's not something I ideologically like. I think healthcare should be provided by the state to the people, and when there's a shortage of people working in that field, they will need more funding. They should put in more funding into that. But it's great that such a service exists, since I don't believe there are any private healthcare providers in Sweden that provide this kind of healthcare. So I'm very happy that there is at least one option for me. I've been using their services since early January, and it's gone very good the entire time.
Simona also wants to talk about one of the communities that she's involved with.
So I'm also a musician. I play guitar and I sing. I've been playing for about half of my life now. I just realized I started when I was 16, I'm 30 now. I think music has always been a good expression for me, like a creative outlet. Like I release a lot of emotions playing music. I get to write songs about whatever I like. There has been some horrible stuff going on during the past 7 years that I've been in the band. So it's allowed me to kind of get those feelings out of myself. Like, it's been very difficult with right-wing politics taking a more firm stand in Sweden. I think I put a lot of that into my music, like getting out all of those feelings of, oh my god, this is so shit. I need to do something about it. So I try to incorporate that into music.
And this is how she describes the music she's playing with her band.
It's kind of like heavy metal, progressive rock, progressive metal. It's kind of out there in regards to metal music. It's very fun. It's fun music to play, and we have a lot of fun doing it. And it's very open to interpretation. Like hopefully one could listen to it, the albums, several times in a row and hear different things, different textures or different sounds. That's what I like about metal music. I don't listen to metal music mainly anymore, but when I do, that's what I like to hear in it. So that's why I try to play with it. I've got some of my records here. I love colors and I love animals. So this is our latest one. It's called Odyssey, and unbeknownst to me, it's regarding my own coming to terms with my gender. I did not know that when I wrote it, but I can see it now. Like the way I felt for so long. It's like metaphorically about that, but it's about traveling. It's about going onto a journey and finding your place in the world. The artwork is done by an artist called Kyrre Bjurling. He's from Norway. He was a fan of ours. We've been working with him for about maybe 5 years. He's amazing. And the band is called Vokonis. You can find us pretty much everywhere. We play some shows in Sweden, and I would love to have more queer people when we play. I want that space to be more queer than it is. It's kind of heterosexual and I don't like it.
Let's dig a little bit deeper into the very normative world of metal music.
The majority of people playing heavy music in Sweden, and I guess everywhere else in the world, is mainly white men, and I think that needs to change, because I've always seen it like everyone that wants to play music should play music because they really have a story to tell with their music. I don't believe that only men could play music and tell stories with their songs. And I think that the heavy scene, like regarding to rock and metal, it's very conservative in that regard. I think in a lot of more other musical spaces, there are a lot of more like queer artists. There are like people of color playing, not so much in the rock and metal scene, even though I think everyone could like that music and could be into it and could play it. And I would love to see more people just form a band and play some music, if that is what they want to do.
And Simona has reflected on why it looks like this.
I think we systematically put women and minorities down. Like in schools, when we were playing music for classes, there would always be like the boys playing the guitar and girls would be singing, like backing them up. It's very structural in that way, and like going into a music shop can be very daunting for anyone who is not like semi-experienced guitar player. And I think that whole environment regarding music needs to change if that particular kind of music want to stay relevant. I mean, I honestly do love all types of music. I don't listen to heavy metal very much, and that is because of this. Mainly because I don't identify with the people playing metal anymore. It's very hard for me to relate to it, especially when everyone says that everyone is welcome here. That's a popular phrase of the metal scene. Everyone is welcome, but it's very clear when you enter a big festival or like a club, like it's not, you're not. The structural ways of men is very prominent in those spaces. I would very much like to see those unspoken rules gone. More people should be able to play the music they like or go to places and go to a show if they like. I think that's very important for me. There has to be a lot of people wanting to listen to that kind of music live or want to form a band, but it's difficult because other people in the genre is like upholding this standard.
So what has it been like for Simona to come out as trans in this environment?
People have been good, but they've been somewhat weird about it. Like when I started going on my HRT, people would ask me if my voice would change. oh my god, is your voice going to change? Are you going to sound the same because we like the way you sound now? And I'm like, oh my god, that's such a weird thing to say to me. We barely know each other. Like in every day when you talk to someone and you like open up to them about, yeah, I'm trans and I'm on HRT, like you get all of these weird questions if they're not kind of aware of what being trans is. So I think that's applied basically at the same time in that scene, which I find kind of lame, because a lot of people in that scene is also very vocal about we shouldn't be racist and we shouldn't be homophobic and we should promote like people of color and like the LGBTQ community. So I think people really need to start actually doing something about it, including me, of course. I also have to be, but I want to be a part of it. I want to like stand on stage and say, this is all right, I'm here. You could also be here if you want to. That's something I think is very important.
Lastly, Simona has some tips for you if you want to start a band or get involved in this music scene.
You should try and, especially if you have some friends or you just want to search out people, there are good groups on Facebook or like social media to find other people to start playing with. There are a lot of studieförbund, I don't know what that's called in English, like sort of reading circles. So you can get funding for a rehearsal space. If you don't already have it, get some cheap second-hand musical equipment and just start writing songs. Write songs and see what sticks and what doesn't. Just write songs and try to get some shows. Write to people online. Get a following. However small is better than nothing. Try to go into a studio. There are so many studios, and just be the change that you want to see in the music scene. You can always write to me also. If you want some advice or tips. Like I always try to do that for other queer people that are looking to start into getting into a band. Because it can be very daunting at first.
If you enjoyed watching that video, please like, comment, subscribe and share the video. I really appreciate you showing your love in that way. If you also want to support the channel financially, that's possible via Patreon, but really no pressure. See you next time!